Ni hao, Lehoma. It's Yugopatamia, and I'm your coach for the Ottawa Oshawotts. And this is the draft analysis for the Ottawa Oshawotts. The first mon I'd like to take a look at is Tangrowth. Tangrowth has three abilities: Chlorophyll, Leaf Guard, and Regenerator. Right now, we're really just looking at Regenerator because it helps maximize its defensive capabilities for giving it some, reliable recovery. So, since it's a very defensive mod, it won't be really packing much power, but it does get a decent amount of attack and SP attack. So, what we could do with Tangrowth is just add some bulk, or add stall. That's one of the main ways of using Tangrowth, but as always, different moves depends on different teams. Some standout moves are definitely Knockoff, Toxic, and then maybe Giga Drain, just for a bit more recovery, or Synthesis at this point. If I was going to use Tangrowth for a bit more offense, as always, team dictates different moves, but Ancient Power is a very decent move as well. Also to help around with bulk, especially with the all increased stats proc. Suggested spreads are physically defensive mons as a bolt just to maximize on its bulk. Next up for the Ottawa Oshawotts is Slowbro. It also has three abilities, but we're just still looking at Regenerator just for the fact that it has decent recovery at this point. What Slowbro's great at is that it can tank hits and it can dish them out as well. It can get things up its defense. It can also set up with Calm Mind. And it can also do a decent amount of damage with its varied type coverage and situational attack moves. Situational special moves. So in terms stat-wise, we can choose a physically defensive set with a bold nature, so we can choose that type of set, or we can definitely choose a mixed attacker depending on the situation. But in most cases, this will be a wall that can set up and can tank hits. The next mon we have is Scizor. Scizor, hard and has pretty good priority. So what we're looking at is ability-wise, Technician is the go-to ability, but Swarm is also pretty good, especially for U-Turn and X-Scizor. So other viable moves would be Bullet Punch, obviously for priority, Knock Off as well, just to take that item off, the annoying items. And of course, since we are using Regen Core, U-Turn, and just for that stab, X-Scizor. Stat-wise, we just have it as a bulky sweeper. Just make it hit hard, make it survive a bit, but yeah, just make it hit hard. The next Pokemon we have on our list is Thundurus with the Prankster ability. Because Prankster increases non-damaging moves by 1, we can give Thundurus many annoying moves such as Toxic, or the ability to set up with Agility, or Bulk Up. It's a versatile mon, and it can also be a mixed attacker. Stat-wise, and the stats also reflect this well, as there is only a 10-point difference between attack and SP attack, so you can always just choose either one depending on the situation. So the next Pokemon on our team is Demanha Tan. Unfortunately, Zen mode is banned in the CCL, so the only ability we get is Sheer Force. Luckily for Demanha Tan, it has great moves to capitalize A on its attack and B on its Sheer Force. Just an example, Flare Blitz, even though we don't get that burn, or Zen Headbutt, even though we don't get that crit or flinch. Still great moves, they still even get boosted. You also get a good Earthquake. And we can also U-turn to our Regenerator course, even better. The next Pokemon for the Ottawa Oshawotts is Flygon. The only ability gets its Levitate, so it'll be immune to ground type moves. Still great though, because we can always switch into it when we expect a ground type, or a ground type move, or Earthquake, especially the Earthquake. This is one of the mons that gets Defog on our team, so just to help against those hazards, it gets Earthquake as a stab. It also gets Dragon Claw. It can get pretty diverse moves, but what we're looking for in terms of stat wise is just usually a fast physical attacker. So usually just mostly in terms of natures, putting on a jolly nature and just wrecking ham with that. So next we have Togetic with Serene Grace, which doubles the secondary effects of moves. Another viable ability is Super Luck, but that will be situational. So because of Serene Grace, we try to have moves that will capitalize on secondary abilities, such secondary effects such as Ancient Power for stat increases, Flamethrower for burn, and Tri Attack for all three nasty things such as Freeze, Burn, and Paralyze. Stat wise, and Soft Boil just for recovery. Stat wise, we're looking at a special attacker with investment in SP attack and HP. Items can definitely try to help its bulk, but we have soft boiled for that. So next we have Vacuous with the ability Levitate. This is a great ability that lets me switch into ground moves on predictions. So notable moves we have are Dusty Bond, Shadow Ball for stab, Dark Pulse, and Will-O-Wisp, especially for that burn. That burn's really important. But yes, it's mostly there as a speedy attacker. But it can also be built especially defensive as well. So next we have Armado. It has two abilities: Battle Armor, so no critical hits, or Swift Swim, doubled speed and rain. Notable moves are Rock Polish to increase speed, Stealth Rocks for entry hazards, X-Scissor for stab, and don't forget, but great priority Aqua Jet. In terms of stats, Armado is built for physical attacking, but also gets investment in return from its defense. The next on the team we have Persian. We only have really two useful abilities here. We have Limber, so no Paralyze, or Technician, which is also something we can take use of. So special move or notable moves. Actually, there are a lot of notable moves. Persian is super diverse and can learn a lot of different moves. Examples here are Fake Out, definitely Fake Out. Knock Off to take out that item. U-Turn again to swap into the Regenerators. And Shadow Claw for that high crit ratio. In terms of stats, Persian does not hit hard, but is certainly fast. So definitely putting speed investments in terms of nature, such as Jolly, and that 252 in speed definitely helps it out. So next up is Primates. We have two really useful abilities here. We have Defiant, so raising the attack by 2 stages every time it gets lowered. Every time a second's lowered, or Vital Spirit. So it's immune to sleep. This might be useful in some certain situations, but yeah. Notable moves are Close Combat, Earthquake, Gunk Shot, and again, U-Turn. I know, it's great, guys. In terms of stats, it's pretty much built for attack and speed, though speed can be lackluster. I assume items will help out in this case. So finally, for our last mon, and for our Mega, it is Mega Absol. So regular Absol gets 3 abilities. Some of them some pretty good. Pressure and Super Luck are the ones we'll go for, and maybe Justify in certain situations. But once we Mega Evolve, we get Magic Bounce, which is pretty great since we block Setuppers and block certain SAS moves, and bring them back. Notable moves that Absol learns are Knock Off, Night Slash, Protect, and the occasional dick move of Sucker Punch. In terms of stats, we are certainly going to abuse its speed and its attack, definitely. Though, as Absol can be made special, its attack shines here, and it shows. So, this has been the draft analysis for the Ottawa Oshawotts with the coach, Hugo Batamia, or known as Ben. Thank you very much for listening.